Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. You probably know I'm Jeffrey Gittimer, that's why you registered, but you don't know that we are joined today by the great Spencer Smith, who is a paid representative of Pipedrive, just been there for a couple, 3 years. And he started out as a lowly account executive on the US sales team, and then has climbed the ladder from one position to another position. And finally, he's the king of sales. And I want to make sure that you understand he got that way by using Pipedrive, the same way we got our way of following up on people using Pipedrive. Prior to his Pipedrive experience, he worked in Division I college basketball and was the director of basketball operations and director of scouting at the University of South Florida, and prior to that at Oklahoma, his graduate school. And he is a big Blake Griffin fan, just so you know. He's almost should I say Trey? No. Okay. So he's almost their other great player who plays for the Atlanta Hawks, but he's with it. And today we're going to go through step-by-step stuff that will help you close more deals using or leveraging CRM and the technology that most salespeople don't use. These three keys. Number one, decreasing monthly tech expenses. If you're a leader, pay very close attention, because it will not only decrease expense, it will increase efficiency. The second thing we're going to talk about is leveraging technology to follow up and follow through, which increases your show rates when you make a meeting. The third thing we're going to do is turn leads into buying customers and then referring customers, literally creating a referring machine. So Spencer, welcome to the group. You're talking to a bunch of salespeople that think they know everything.
Hey, that's awesome. That's what salespeople do, right? We always think we know everything. I'm
Exactly.
right there with you. Yeah.
Actually, though, in New York, they actually do know everything.
That checks out.
If someone's from New York City, this is just a review for them.
That checks out. Yeah. Thanks for having me. This is great. I love what you guys are doing. Obviously, this channel is really, really popular. Really, really happy to be here and talk a little bit about Pipedrive. And yeah, our plan today, I'll share my screen a little bit, kind of guide you through a little bit of Pipedrive, how to use it on a daily basis. He hit the nail on the head. Exactly. Reducing cost, increasing efficiency, increasing output, what you're doing every day, and also just doing it in a really easy to use system. That's what Pipedrive is known for. We are one of the, if not the easiest CRM system to use in the world. We take a lot of pride in that. So hopefully that comes across on this as well, because yeah, it makes a big difference using this. And yeah, we use Pipedrive every day. CRM company, we use our own CRM. That's not always the case with a lot of other CRMs out there, which is interesting, but we use our CRM every day because it's that effective. It works that well. So really looking forward to this.
I programmed my CRM and I'm not a techie. I'll just put it that way. The shirt I'm wearing today about keeping it simple is because we used another CRM for a few years and I never used it. It was so damn complicated for me to use. We had to pay a consultant $7,500 to show us how to turn it on. It was embarrassing.
Yeah.
And just so you know, we have people joining from all over. So I'd like to say hello to them.
Sure.
If that's cool. We have, so thank you guys for popping in the chat where you're joining from. We have Bruce from down the street in Fort Mill, Eric from Ohio, Ottawa Hills, JJ from Albuquerque via New York City, Eric, Sweet Home, Oregon, AJ, San Diego, Manoj in Mumbai, Craig, Southern Pines, North Carolina, Michelle, Atlanta, Georgia, Jeff, Carmel, Indiana, Vito, New Jersey, JJ.
Wait, if you're in New Jersey and your name is Vito, I'm your guy.
Jimmy in Alaska, Philip in Austin, Andrea in Irvine. The list goes on and on. Carl from Tucson, Scott in Buffalo, Joseph in San Diego.
So Mumbai is the farthest away, correct, so far?
So far, yeah.
Welcome, everybody. I want you to pay close attention because as Spencer is going through this, keep in mind, this is what I do. This is what Jen does. And we're closing six-figure deals as a result of the process that we're going to explain to you today. Take it away, Spence.
Yeah, Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Thanks again. Whoever's joining from Alaska, props to you. I think it's like 5 a.m. over there. So very, very happy to have you. Really appreciate that. So yeah, I'll share my screen. I will just kind of start to demo through Pipedrive a little bit. I think these two are going to chime in and everything like that. Are we taking questions? Is there
Sure.
Yeah, there is a chat, and I'll chime in. Do you want to save the questions to the end, or do you want them to pop in the questions and ask along the way?
I'd say pop them in and ask along the way.
Yeah,
If there's
I
not the
would.
answer or whatever,
Okay.
yeah.
Because
Just-
everyone's going to want to know, how much does this cost? What do I do? I think there's a link where you can like sign up right here.
For
And
free below, yeah. But
Yeah.
let's get through it. Let's show what this is, because it's pretty powerful and it's what we're using.
Yeah, absolutely. This is great. So yeah, I'll share my screen, guys. Apparently there's a chat, so throw those questions in there. Happy to answer those, but we'll kind of guide you through some of the basics of Pipedrive. Again, in your mind as I'm going through this, right? Think ease of use, right? How can I make my life better using a tool like this? That's what Pipedrive is meant to be. So let me share my screen really quick, and we will knock this thing out. Okay. Can you guys see this okay? Is that working?
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, good deal. All right, so this that we're looking at, right? This right here, this is Pipedrive. If you've never seen it before, this is Pipedrive. This is kind of like your home screen a little bit in Pipedrive. This is what we call the pipeline view. This is a completely customizable workflow for you and your company to use and establish based on whatever it is that you might want to use this for. Most commonly, this is used for sales. I'm talking to a bunch of salespeople that all know everything, right? So what's that sales process for you? From when a lead first comes in until they sign on the dotted line and they say, I want to hire you to do this work for me or whatever. What does that process look like? As an admin on the account, when you're first setting it up, right? So he was just talking about, hey, I set this thing up myself. It's really easy. All you have to do is come in here and hit this little pencil here at the top. This little pencil here at the top allows you to edit this pipeline. So I can rename all of my stages, right? You can see here, it allows me to rename them all. I can delete stages if I don't need this many, or I can always scroll to the right and add more. So this is a completely customizable workflow to match your process. Now, what's really cool as well
Hang
is
on
that
one second. Spencer, hang on one second. When I saw this feature, my first two words were, holy shit, this is like,
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's so easy to do. So I named our whole process. Literally in 5 minutes, I had our entire process from beginning to end, because I refer to it as attracting leads.
Mhm.
And I mean, it's my own nomenclature, and anybody who wants it, all you have to do is just put your name in the chat or something, or your email, and we'll get it back to you of how I've done it. But keep going. I want you to understand how amazing this is and how easy it is.
100%. In other CRMs, what we're looking at doing right here would take sometimes weeks, or you'd have to hire a consultant, you'd have to hire a developer to kind of change some of this stuff around. Not in Pipedrive. You're literally just hitting a button and you're making it your own. You don't need any computer background. You don't need to be an IT expert. It's just as easy as that. And what's cool about these as well is that ultimately right up here at the top left, I can call my pipeline what I want. Well, why is that important? That's actually really important because you can have multiple pipelines. Okay. You might have a totally different process for dealing with, client type A versus client type B, or whatever the case is. Maybe you want a pipeline for account management. As you can see, I have established here. Maybe you want one for different sections of your business. Whatever the case is, you can have all sorts of different pipelines that all have different sets of stages and steps to them that are all fully customizable to match your process. And you can just toggle between them. Unlimited amounts of pipelines on Pipedrive, which is really nice. All right. Now, you'll also notice that on each of these different pipelines that we're talking about, you'll notice that each of them have a different set of these little white cards on them. These little white cards are what we call deals. So that's important. That's Pipedrive terminology. Other systems call them opportunities or prospects or whatever. We call them deals. Now, there's a lot of ways to get stuff into Pipedrive. So how do I get these deals in my pipeline? A lot of ways to get them in here automatically from, we can connect to marketing campaigns or website traffic. We can, help you import a bunch of deals or leads that you're getting from other places. A lot of options there. Or there's just the old school way of, hey, I work in the office. Somebody finds our website. They call into the office line. They get a hold of me. Okay, this is a good opportunity. I want to put it onto my pipeline. How would I do that? I would just come right up here to the top and click add new deal. Okay.
Wow.
When I do that, this little form comes up. Okay. Now, this is the second bit of customization that you can do really easily, and I'm going to show you how in a second. But this form can be totally customized to match your process. Like, what are the questions that you need to know? That's important just because, like, a real estate agent has very different questions that they need to ask versus somebody who's selling, machinery or whatever. So you need to be able to create what are called your own custom fields in order to get that information in. So when I hit this add new deal button and this little form comes up, This is what's customizable. Some of the stuff is default, like, hey, who's the contact person? What's the company name, their phone number, their email address, all of that kind of stuff. But the rest of these down here that you see are all what we call custom fields. So it takes about 10 seconds to make one. I'll show you how. But again, what are those questions that you need to ask in order to help qualify the opportunity? You know, what are you saying to these clients and trying to gather in order to help attract those leads, different things like that. These fields can be drop-down options. They can be multiple choice. They can be whatever you want them to be. Okay. So as an example, so you say, okay, I've got a very specific set of information and I want to get it on this sheet. How do I do that? Okay. So let's go through that really quickly. All you need to do is come up here to your company settings. Again, think ease of use, right? I'm not a developer. I'm not a tech guy. I'm not a code guy. So I don't really know. I wouldn't normally know how to do that. But in Pipedrive, you don't need that. I would just come into company settings. I'd go to data fields and I would just want to add a new one really quickly. And let's just, you know, for the sake of this, let's just say that it's really important that you know what their, you know, favorite vacation spot is, right? It's crucial as part of the deal that you know what their favorite vacation spot is, just as an example. I'll make it a single option dropdown, which means it's multiple choice, but you can only select one. So what are some popular ones? How about New York City for our New Yorkers? How about Miami, LA? You know, maybe, you know, how about
Cleveland? Don't leave Cleveland out.
Cleveland is beautiful. Cleveland and Detroit are both great, you know, so on and so forth. So I'm getting all of these kind of different things. You know, I went to school in Norman, Oklahoma. I know that's a big vacation spot.
Oh, yeah.
I can get all of these different kind of option drop downs. I just check these boxes and I hit save. That's it. That took 10 seconds. It's all you have to do. And now anytime I come back to my pipeline, my account's going to refresh just to let that new field set in. But now if you see, if I go back to add a new deal, I scroll down, there it is. Favorite vacation spot with all of our different options. New York, LA,
To
Cleveland.
gain further insight, you can say book they've currently are reading or favorite book, just to get into their head just a little bit about where their philosophy is. There's things that you can do in this that give you insight, not just information.
100%. That's a great point. You can leverage these in so many different ways, and they're just so easy to add. You can do it on the fly. You have an idea and you're like, oh, I want to add that in really quickly. You don't need to call a developer. You just do it yourself. It takes 20 seconds. It's really easy. So now we've got that field in there for us, which is great. So now then all I need to do is fill this form out. It'll take all the information, bundle it together, and then put a new card on my pipeline for me to use. And it probably goes without saying, but these cards are just drag and drop. So as you're moving them through your sales process, you are just dragging and dropping them as we go, right? Until you're ready to either mark this deal as won down here at the bottom or lost.
Think about what you have to do, you guys, to update your CRM and how big of that's why salespeople don't go in. That's why your CRM's not up to date if you're not using Pipedrive, because it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And so I think I always thought that Pipedrive's slogan should be a CRM that's not a pain in the ass. I thought that would be like a great marketing tool for them to be able to state their case in 2 seconds.
That's a great one. Yeah, we'll talk to marketing about that because that's actually a really good one. I like that because that's what it is. It's all it takes to describe Pipedrive. It's like, hey, this is just not a pain in the ass, which is great.
And Spencer, just so you know, I'm popping the questions in the chat so that you just want to make sure you see them. You can answer them whenever, but you guys keep the questions coming and I'll keep sharing them with Spencer.
Yeah, I just pulled that up actually. So a quick question from Gwen. Do we integrate with Dialpad? The answer is yes. We do have a couple of different integration options with Dialpad. I would say when we'll talk about this in a little bit, when you sign up for a free trial, you'll get assigned a sales executive, somebody like myself, but hopefully a lot better, who can help you with certain things like that. And they can talk to you about different integration options. But yeah, I've had clients integrate with Dialpad before. Bruce says, I've had Salesforce, HubSpot, and Go High Level. Pipedrive blows them all off the planet. That's true. That checks out. That's factual. How about where did you grow up? That's a good option to throw in there as well. If you move it to lost, where does the contact go? That's a great question. So if I move a particular deal to lost, it doesn't delete it off of your it doesn't delete it out of your account. It just moves it off of your pipeline. So this Trato ABC Realty one that you see here, I'll drag it down and mark it as lost. So now it's going to disappear. First of all, Pipedrive will always ask me, why did you lose the deal? And you can actually pre-populate lost reasons for your team to fill out. We're just a little too expensive for them maybe, or something like that, right? Right. So, oops, sorry about that. So yeah, we're just a little too expensive for them. Maybe I'll mark it as lost. Okay. So boom, now it disappears from my pipeline, but I can still go back and find that deal. Trato ABC Realty. There it is. And you see it's got a little lost button next to it, but I can still pull it up. It still exists inside of my account.
I have to tell you that when you've lost an account, sales leader, salesperson, it's your damn fault. The guy didn't take a cheaper price. You were unable to convey value. So try to put the lost reason in terms of yourself rather than blaming the customer for why they didn't come in. And anybody that says pipe drive is too expensive is an absolute genuine cheap bastard, because this is the best value of price on the planet.
Yeah. Hey, I couldn't agree more. You are absolutely right, especially compared to Salesforce, HubSpot, some of the ones that they mentioned earlier. Yeah. And as when you're first setting up the account, you're like, okay, lost reasons. You can set that up yourself. You just come in here to company settings and go to lost reasons, and you can create all your own for your team to choose from in a drop down and all of that type of stuff. So
you make sure that the word me is in there as one of the reasons.
Yeah. Yeah. I, me, something like that, right? Take ownership for the opportunity not being marked as one.
Exactly.
So that's kind of the detail view, or I'm sorry, that's kind of the pipeline. Can you pull up all the lost deals by the reason why you lost? Absolutely, you can. Tom, that's a great question, which kind of leads me to my next point really quickly, which is really nice, is that I can take my whole pipeline and I can shift it over actually to a list view. So the list view is really nice because I can pull up in a list view anything that I want. Okay. So I can say, hey, I just want to see, maybe like if I come over here to my filters and scroll to the bottom, all of my lost deals. Okay. And then, yeah, absolutely. You just talked about lost reasons. So I can pull up lost reason as a column right here. So now that's going to be a column for me. There it is right there. So I can drag this over and I can sort by it. Too expensive, not interested at this time, technical features, whatever the case is, bad timing, right? So I can sort by that without jumping around too much. We'll talk about this in a minute, but you can also run a report on that in our Insights tab. Okay, with cool graphs and charts and stuff, but we'll talk about that in a minute. All right.
Hey guys, are you getting how scary this actually is? And that anybody can do it? Like I do it.
Yeah. Yeah, literally anybody can do it. Yeah.
I fall into the anyone can do it category, Spencer.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And a lot of
listen, let me share something. I will never say if I can do it, you can do it. I'm going to say if I can do it, it can be done.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Pipe drive can very easily be done, right? It's just a couple days, maybe sometimes not even. You can set this whole thing up in just a quick afternoon if you want, just depending on what your calendar looks like. But yeah, this is all really easy. So let's take a look. I did see a question from Philip about reporting. Yeah, we're going to talk about reporting, so hang on to that. Let's dive into each of these opportunities, right? So I've got all these different deals in my pipeline, right? Let's go ahead and click into one of these. I'll click into, how about just this one, right? We'll see what's going on in here. So this is what we call the detail view of the deal. Okay. This is where the magic happens. This is the meat and potatoes of each of your opportunities. So you can click into any of these different opportunities, right? And it just takes you to the quote unquote detail view of that deal. All right. So I'll stick with this one. So just so you know the structure here, this green and gray bar at the top is a visual representation of your pipeline, right? So whatever you've established out here, okay, again, lead in all the way down to negotiate is what I have. Okay, so I've got 5 different steps and stages here. If I come back to this one, that's what's represented in here. Lead in, follow up, all the way down to negotiate. And Pipedrive will actually tell me how many days it sits in each stage of the pipeline, right? So this one's a brand new deal. It actually just got created, it looks like, by a team member of mine about 11 minutes ago. So that's nice and easy. The left-hand side of the deal that you see here is your information center. So all of the information that you need to know about the client, again, what's their favorite vacation spot, right? How we just made that with Cleveland and Norman and all those, right? All of that information is going to be over here on the left-hand side. Information about the client that you're working with, what's Sarah's phone number, what's her email address, all of that type of stuff, anything you need to know about Sarah. And then if Sarah's representing a company, if you're in a sales organization that's B2B, you're selling mostly to other companies, what information do you need to know about the company? All of that is available for you here on the left.
I don't want to, Spencer, let me interrupt for just 1 second.
Yep.
I do not want to give all of Pipedrive this information, but if you're on this webinar today, I'm going to give it to you. The most important element in any one of your prospects is what is their buying motive? Why are they going to purchase this product, whether it's from you or anybody else? And that needs to be its own category. What do you believe their buying motive to be? And if you understand that, then every time you're talking to that customer, that buying motive is right in front of you, and you'll be able to go back to it and increase the value that you're conveying to that customer.
100%. Well said, because that's so true. And that's what I focus on every day. It's like, hey, you're wanting to switch to a new CRM. Why? Right? Okay. It's great that you just told me that HubSpot is a pain in the ass. Why is it a pain in the ass? Oh, okay. It's reporting, right? You don't get the reports that you want. Oh, it's not easy to use. Oh, it's too expensive. Like all of those things, like drilling down into those
No, it's
reasons.
way expensive.
Yes. Yeah, it is. It is. But that's so important. It's such a great point of like drilling into why. So yeah, absolutely. These data fields, and we keep talking about them because they're important. Like these data fields can help you sell. Like they're just there every time. You might move on from Sarah. It might be a week or two because maybe you went on holiday. Maybe Sarah went on holiday. It doesn't matter, whatever. Anytime that you come back into this deal, you're going to have that information there, right? So it's going to be like you guys just talked yesterday, right? Everything is at your fingertips really, really easily here on the left-hand side of your each of your deals.
Keep in mind that the reason that CRM is the most purchased, least used software in the history of the computer is that salespeople erroneously think that it will not help them make a sale. And you're right. If you're using another brand other than Pipedrive, it probably will not help you make a sale. But I can tell you personally, Jen can tell you personally, Spencer can tell you personally, it does help you make a sale because everything is customizable, creating the emotional response from that customer. And the sale is made emotionally and then justified logically. So if you have the emotional data and the logical data in that file, you're going to win.
100%. Absolutely. I mean, this is a tool. I always say there's a fine line when it comes to softwares between them being a help or a hassle. It's like there's a really fine line between those two things. It's like, hey, do I like using this every day or do I not? Pipedrive is a genuine help to what you're doing every day, right? I hear stories all the time, every week, of companies that have doubled their sales in the last year, this and that, because they switched to Pipedrive and now they're just organized and they're on top of it. And Pipedrive is actually helping them. Their CRM is a help. It's not a hassle to what they're trying to do every day, right? That's Pipedrive. Yeah, absolutely. So all of your
can you tell people you get a morning email every day too?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. I get a morning email every day from Pipedrive letting me know exactly what I need to do that day on a daily basis. Who do I need to follow up with? Who do I need to email? I have the mobile app on my phone, which we can talk about as well if there's any questions about that. So I get push notifications on my phone, letting me know, reminding me, hey, don't forget to follow up with this person or that person, different things like that. So Pipedrive is kind of always kicking me in the tail a little bit, letting me know what I need to do in order to be successful at my job every day. Yeah.
And it comes early. It's a 5 o'clocker.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I wake up to it every day. Yeah. It beats me up in the morning. I get up and it's in there waiting for me. And honestly, I log into Pipedrive and I've got all sorts of, all of my stuff in Pipedrive is already updated. Who do I need to call today? Everything like that. It's all just sitting there waiting for me. Yeah, absolutely. And then when you're in here as well, right? So the left-hand side again is your information center. So what do I need to know about the client? The right-hand side is where the magic happens. This is the real meat and potatoes of, okay, so my client here, her name is Sarah Mitchell, okay? If I'm on the phone with Sarah Mitchell, I'm taking notes, right? The very first thing I'm doing is taking notes. This whole right-hand side of the deal here is kind of like, I compare it to like a Facebook feed or anything like that. It's a timeline. It's a timeline of postings and notes and all sorts of stuff where the most recent stuff will be at the top. And then the further down that I scroll, the further back in time that I'm going. So I can go back in time and I can look at my past notes and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, if I'm talking to Sarah on the phone, first things first, I'm filling out all my data fields the way that I need to. Okay. Anything else I'm taking notes about. Okay. So I can say, she needs X, Y, Z. She attended, University of Michigan, right? Like anything that I need to know about Sarah, maybe I'm taking notes on it. We also offer note tagging, which is really cool. So if you guys are collaborative, you work in a team environment, different things like that, you'd be able to tag teammates in notes so that they get pinged, they get an email, they get a notification in Pipedrive, all that type of stuff. And then I come down here and I just hit save. And so now that goes to the very top of our little feed. And now I have a record of that note that I took. And if a note's important, I can hit that little button and it'll pin it to the top where it's the first thing that I see anytime that I click in here. But notes are obviously critical and you got to be able to do that. Maybe even more critical than notes is follow-ups. If I have a great call with Sarah, me as a salesperson, I need to capitalize on that, right? I cannot let this die on the vine, right? I can't let this just go to waste. I have a great conversation. I need to capitalize. So how do I capitalize? I follow up. Okay. So I need to set that up for myself. I have a great call with Sarah. We have a great talk. She's like, okay, yeah, this is great. I'm like, well, hey, why don't we circle up first of next week and let's kind of keep the conversation going. She's like, yeah, that'd be great. Let's do it. So I come in here, do activity. Now I want to schedule a follow-up. So I'll say, hey, call Sarah. And I'll bump this to, we agreed on next Monday, the 27th. Maybe I really want to close her before the end of February. So I want to make sure I get with her on the 27th. So now this is the first opportunity that I have to show you. We fully sync with your work calendars. Outlook, Google, Office, we fully sync with your work calendar. So when I bump this to Monday, what happens is that my work calendar for Monday will actually appear right here on the right. You no longer need to jump around from screen to screen to see when you're available or whatever. Google, Outlook, Office, all the main calendars will just appear right here on the right, yours will. So I can actually see when I'm available and I can say, hey, Sarah, I'm actually wide open. What time do you want me to call you? She's like, yeah, call me at 1 o'clock on Monday. I'm like, okay, perfect. So I'll set this for 1 o'clock. You can actually see it getting added to my calendar in real time, maybe from 1 to 1:30. And then what I can do is I can tag Sarah on as a guest. It'll auto-populate her email so that it tags her on as a guest. So it'll send her a calendar invite. Again, Google, Outlook, Office, the invites will look the same as the invites that you send now. And then we also have one-touch video integrations with Zoom, Microsoft Teams, or Google Meet. So if you or your company use any of those 3 things to do meetings, Zoom, Teams, Google Meet, single click of a button, it can auto-populate a Zoom link or a Teams link, whatever you want, and send that out in the meeting invite as well. Okay, come down here and I can leave myself a little note. I can say, be sure to bring up, product A and product, E. How about that? And then just come down here and save and send invites. So now that's going to go on my Google Calendar, my Outlook calendar, whatever. It's going to go on my to-do list in Pipedrive. It's going to send Sarah the calendar invite, and Pipedrive will kick me in the tail. I will wake up the morning of February 27th with Pipedrive already reminding me, hey, don't forget, you have to call Sarah. You got to get on that Zoom call with Sarah, so on and so forth.
Okay, now Spencer's going through a lot of stuff and he's very prolific at it and he's able to talk about it in a way that's quick for you guys. And many of you may not be able to grasp it all, but I'm just challenging you with this. Within a week, you'll have it down. And just rewatch this webinar 10 times and you'll have it down. Because
100%.
there's enough information in here for you to learn how to close a sale actually using a CRM. Those things have been mutually exclusive for 20 years. You can go all the way back to ACT, it was a pain in the ass, or Goldmine was a pain in the ass. And now they're bigger companies, but they're still all in the same pain in the ass category. Mm-hmm. And you think your boss is using it as a micro tool to manage you and see what you're doing with your time, when in fact your boss is going to marvel at you of how you're following through with sales and actually making sales using CRM as you're using Pipedrive literally as your foundation.
And I just want to add that below this video, there's a link for a free trial. There's no harm in a free trial. Get the free trial and use our link and rewatch this video because there's so much gold in here, and pause, like go through it, pause, go through it, pause, and you'll see how you can begin to implement it even more quickly.
Who are you again?
Great, Jen Gittimer.
Oh, cool. Okay, cool.
Yeah, 100%. Free trials are fantastic, right? And when you sign up for a free trial, you'll also get assigned, like I think I briefly mentioned it earlier, an account executive, somebody like me, somebody holding your hand while you guys make this transition, right? You've got these webinars and you've got this video that you can go back and watch as well. You've got all these different resources kind of at your disposal that you can use to really get up and running on something like this. And I promise you can get up and running on this in an afternoon. It's so easy.
And just to add to that, we do a monthly get started session with anyone who has signed up using our link. So if you sign up with our link below, you email helpme@gittimer.com and we get you invited to the next get started session with me. And we show you how we're using it specifically for our sales and help you think through exactly how to set it up for sales success. So you get both when you do that.
And I apologize if this seems a little salesy, but I'm telling you right now, if you're not using your CRM to make a sale, then drop what you're using right now and sign up for Pipedrive. It's a moneymaker. It doesn't cost you a dime. It puts money in your pocket.
Yep. 100%. And if you are going to sign up, she just hit the nail on the head. If you are going to sign up, use that link below, because that's the one that you'll want to use, because then you'll get double the resources, right? Because now you can join those monthly meetings. You can get advice from them on how they're using it. You can get the perspective outside of just the Pipedrive perspective, which is really, really good, really unique opportunity. So sign up using that link below if you want to sign up for a free trial. Absolutely.
Think about this. You're going to talk to someone who actually knows what they're talking about, who can actually help you, and they're kissing your ass. Literally, they're making a better salesperson out of you, no matter where you've come from, no matter what you've done, by using data and showing you how to get to the emotional side and the logical side of that data in order for you to become more successful.
100%. And honestly, the best part about like getting work from Jeff and Jen in this case is, hey, like they're independent, right? They're only doing this because they genuinely, truly love Pipedrive. It's a truly independent source of like, hey, they're not Pipedrive employees. They're not being paid, and all of that. They're just truly passionate about the product because the product is really that good. So it's a great perspective to be able to get.
We went to their offices in Berlin a couple of months ago, and it was like going to Mecca. You go to this place where we actually, we can measure hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of sales that we made because our data didn't fall through the cracks, because it gave us the understanding and the insight of how to use who was interested in doing business with us. We took the leads, we uncovered the buying motive, we did the follow through, and we ended up with money. And if that's part of your sales process and you're not using it the right way, then what Spencer's telling you is gospel, literally.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. It's about, honestly, the biggest thing about Pipedrive is about taking what you do every day and trying to put it under one roof for you so that you just have a single source of truth and a single source of organization. Salespeople, and I'm probably the worst, that the salespeople can always be more organized, right? That's the one default of our kind sometimes, is like, hey, we're trying to close so many deals and stuff that things tend to slip through the cracks. They tend to die on the vine. You wait a little bit too long to follow up, so you miss out on that opportunity because you were too busy or distracted over here. Get everything under one roof, have a single source of truth for all of your organization. So like, for instance, we talked about that with Calendar. We also fully sync with your email accounts is like another example of how we can do that. Go Gmail, Outlook, Office. You use your email every day. Just sync it with Pipedrive. You sync it with Pipedrive, then all of a sudden you can send and receive emails from your Gmail or from your Outlook from inside of Pipedrive. You can actually manage your entire inbox from inside of Pipedrive. We're a Google company. We use Gmail and Google Calendar and all that. I have not opened up my Gmail in months. I don't need it. I just use everything inside of Pipedrive. I'm getting an email, it's coming into here, and I'm answering it in here. Right? If I want to email this client, I'm inside of her deal. So I'm just clicking the email button and I'm going to send it out from right here. You don't need to jump around anymore, right? We want to get everything that we can under one roof for you so that you can do everything from inside of Pipedrive, which is really cool. Right? Now, I did see a question in the chat from Eric. Does it work with Calendly? So two answers, two sides of the same coin. One, yes, we fully integrate with Calendly, which is really, really cool, really important. But we also have our own built-in Calendly-like tool. The amount of teams that I've been able to save them a little bit of money, we've been able to save them a little bit of money because they're paying all this money for Calendly. Pipedrive has that feature actually built in. It comes with your plan, right? It's called the Pipedrive Scheduler. Same type of thing applies as Calendly. You just set up your availability for when you want to be available to be booked, right? And then a client emails me, in this case, Sarah says, hey, Spence, can we meet next week? I can just say, yeah, we sure can. We don't want to email back and forth a bunch of times to find a good time. That's kind of annoying for you and for the client. So I can just drop in my meeting link, see my schedule, book a time here. The client can then click on it and select the day and the time that they want to be able to book with me for a quick call. All right. And this live updates with your calendar. So yes, we do integrate with Calendly, but we also have our own Calendly type function built in to save you money. So you don't need to pay for Calendly anymore, which is really nice. All right.
Are you getting it yet, you guys?
Yep. Go ahead.
No, I mean, Spencer's giving you money. He's literally giving you money. And your job is to accept it. Your job as a salesperson is to accept the money the Pipedrive is kind of give you. And I promise you this, that morning email is the kick in the ass that your mother would get out of bed. It's your wife nagging you. No, it's just a nice, friendly email saying, dude, this is what you have to do today. Don't screw it up.
I have to say, we were using an outside tool to book meetings, and now that we can do it as part of our package within Pipedrive, it's been such a, I mean, it's great that you integrate. That's really cool. But the fact that we have one less program to think about, we can do it all within here and we save money doing it. It's like, it's so freaking easy and simple and awesome.
Yeah, it's great. Again, just everything under one roof. And the more that Pipedrive can kind of save you, the less that you have to integrate in, the better, obviously, right? Because it saves you money elsewhere. And again, it's just all kind of right here. And all of our tools are just equally easy to use, which is really, really nice. The same thing kind of applies. Now, I won't dive very deep into this, but I will mention this. We also have our own document and contract manager built into Pipedrive as well. I won't spend a lot of time on this. We can send you some follow-up information and stuff, but this is basically like a full replacement for DocuSign. Okay, e-signatures, templated quotes, proposals, contracts. If you're paying for DocuSign or you're paying for PandaDoc, something like that, you don't have to do that anymore. If you come over to Pipedrive, we have what's called Smart Docs. So this is our document and quote and contract proposal manager. Everything DocuSign can do, PandaDoc, all that kind of stuff is all built in. So yeah, we integrate with those tools, but we have it built in. So you don't need to go pay for DocuSign. You don't need to pay for PandaDoc. That's another thing. We're giving you money. We're giving you money back. You don't need to spend that money anymore. That money can now go elsewhere because it's all just built into Pipedrive. It comes with your plan. All right. So it's called Smart Docs. It's basically a full replacement for DocuSign or PandaDoc. So that's something to definitely do some research on, or we can maybe set up another session to go a little bit deeper into that, but that's in here as well. So all of these tools kind of all built in, all at the touch of your fingers, just being able to really quickly engage and work with these clients, everything that you need. All right.
Amazing.
See
Literally amazing.
No,
Hey, listen, you guys, you're in the chat. Can you put a note in there about what you think about this information so far? How has Spencer beat the crap out of you to be able to literally go back and talk to you about what you need to do, how you need to do it, and what your potential outcomes are? This is an outcome-based CRM. Once you put buying motive in there, and once you have any kind of personal data that will lead you to that emotional connection, then the logic follows. The sale is made emotionally and then justified logically. But Pipedrive gives you the opportunity to document the potential emotion behind the customer's buying motive. Once you have that, you win.
This is really cool at the beginning, and you guys didn't see it because you don't have the chat, but Bruce said, "Hi Jen, I entered my first deal on Monday. It closed 2 minutes ago." Like, that's the freaking power. Like, how cool is that?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's
and
awesome.
Keep in mind, salespeople fight this. This is they fight literally documenting things because they're afraid their boss is going to have a foot up their ass to micromanage them. It's the biggest mistake in CRM. Literally.
100%. 100%. This is here to help, right? The more you use it, the more you're going to get out of it. 100%.
Just by the way, don't flatter yourself thinking the boss is wondering what you're doing. Boss basically doesn't give a shit about what you're doing until the end of the month when they're looking at your numbers.
So I know you were asking for what people were thinking. Bert says, I'm familiar with CRM and it sounds like Pipedrive is a good tool. I'm anxious to see the ongoing cost. Jimmy Jack Fishing says, sounds great. Jimmy and Abby need to review. Kenneth says, thanks, I will give it a try. Eric says, someone I admire says, never sell a sold salesperson. I am convinced and ready to go.
That's funny.
That's funny as hell.
I love that.
We should make a pilgrimage to Berlin for some of our diehards, which is what we call the people that follow, sell, or die, and just go to the Pipedrive office and raid your coffee thing and your candy thing and all the other crap that's around there, and visit the amazing city of Berlin.
100%. We actually we have a slightly even bigger office now in Lisbon. It just opened up, so if anybody wanted to take a side trip to Lisbon, I'd be totally on board because that sounds fun. I've never been to the Lisbon office, which would be cool. But yeah, we've got offices all over. I'm based in Tampa, Florida, by the way. This is where our U.S. headquarters is based out of. And so, and I had the U.S. sales team here. But yeah, we've got offices all over the world, which is cool. So if you wanted to do a Pipedrive pilgrimage, there's some cool places that you guys can go.
Yeah, I don't know that that's high on the pilgrimage. I think the maybe going to where Noah's Ark landed would be first, and then
yeah. Slightly more significant Noah's Ark versus Pipedrive, but it's close. It's close, I'd say.
I'll tell you though, if you're making $500,000 a year from your Pipedrive, you might want to make a pilgrimage.
Yeah. No, 100%, 100%. We have a question in the chat from Frank. Can Pipedrive integrate with MailChimp to send email campaigns? Absolutely. Yes, we can. We fully integrate with MailChimp, which is very cool. MailChimp's a great tool. But again, I'm going to sound like a broken record. Hopefully this is blowing your minds. Pipedrive has email marketing built in, right? So it's great that you can integrate with MailChimp, and I love MailChimp. I fully encourage it. If you love MailChimp, hang on to it. That's awesome. But we also have our own campaign system inside of Pipedrive that's built in, where you can build out all of your own email marketing campaigns. And again, we're not going to go too deep into this just because the question got asked. We have a whole bunch of different templates that you can use. You can build all of your own templates from scratch, whatever you want inside of Pipedrive, and be able to manage it from in here. So again, you could, in theory, if you wanted to, cancel MailChimp, cancel ActiveCampaign, maybe some of those other ones that you're using, and just use Pipedrives, which is really cool. Everything under one roof. That's the goal. But yes, we do integrate with MailChimp as well. So when talking about like your day, right? Let's talk a little bit about your day and like, hey, well, how do I kind of manage things and all that type of stuff, right? So like if I'm in this RESTful lands deal and I let's just say, for instance, and I'll schedule it, I need to call RESTful lands, guessing that's a company. I need to call them today, whatever, hit save. Let's just say I set that up the other day. Where do I go to manage my day? Okay, a couple different things. For starters, taking a look at this pipeline, this will hopefully be really cool. Again, the whole point of the pipeline is to let you know really quickly where you are, like where am I at with all these opportunities, okay? You'll notice these little symbols out here to the right of each card. These are activity based. If you have a task in one of these deals and it's overdue, so, I was supposed to follow up, with Claire Santos yesterday and I wasn't able to get to it, that symbol will now be red. So if you see a lot of red symbols, it just tells you, hey, I'm overdue in these deals, so I need to click into them. I need to see why I'm overdue. Right? And then I need to give them a call. Now, this is a demo account, so it's not very well kept up with, okay? Normally, I'm a little bit more organized than this. But you can see here, I've got a lot of like little red tiles. So it means I'm overdue on a lot of these. If it's green, green means go, right? Green means go. If it's green, that means that you have a task in there scheduled and that's due today. Okay, so if you see a green symbol, that means that those are the deals you're going to be working on that day. Yellow is kind of a warning sign. We've been talking about it. We've kind of been beating around the bush on it like kind of all day long. Don't let things fall through the cracks, right? A yellow symbol means that you don't have a follow-up in there scheduled right now. So if I click into any one of these, you'll see that there's no follow-up scheduled. That's a problem, right? That's not good for me. As a sales guy, I want to make sure that I'm scheduling these follow-ups. So I can click on this little yellow symbol and I can schedule a quick follow-up really quickly for myself, right? Or if it's gray, if you see a gray one down here, that means that you have a follow-up schedule, but it's not due yet, right? It's due in the future, you're good to go. So all these symbols are also going to kind of kick you in the tail a little bit and quickly let you know where you're at. But again, where do I go in order to kind of consolidate my day and understand like, okay, who do I need to follow up with that day, that type of stuff? That's going to be over here on the left-hand side. We have what's called our activities tab, right? I'll let my account load real quick. That's our activities tab. So I can come over here to my activities tab and it will give me a single sheet to-do list of, hey, who do I need to follow up with today? Right? Oh yeah, I need to do a quote follow-up here. I need to do an intro call with these couple of companies. It's just consolidating my entire day into one to-do list. What do I need to do? It's putting little check marks next to things that I've already gotten done. And right there is that one that I just scheduled, RESTful Lands, right? I needed to call RESTful Lands. You guys just saw me schedule that for myself really quickly. There it is right there. I give them a call. The call goes great. I can mark it as complete. And then Pipedrive is automatically going to prompt me to go ahead and schedule the next follow-up with RESTful Lands. Right. So Pipedrive is kind of holding me accountable and making sure that I have everything that I need in order to keep this sale going, right? To keep the momentum going and to build off the great call that maybe we just had, right? So on and so forth. So this is consolidating my entire to-do list into one single sheet for me. And this is also where the calendar sync can be viewed. So we talked about it earlier. We fully sync with your work calendars, Outlook and Google and all that. This is where the calendar sync can be viewed as well.
Spencer, if I have another CRM, can I import my data into Pipedrive easily?
That's a great question. And the answer is absolutely. We have two different options for importing data. I can come over here. If you want to import directly from another CRM, you can do that through a sister company called Import2. It's totally free up to 100,000 records. But if you find your prior CRM on this list, you'll see HubSpot on here. You'll see Salesforce on here. These are all in alphabetical order. You'll see a lot of different CRMs. All you need to do is click the import button and it'll start to import your data into Pipedrive, right? Option number two is to just do a quick import via a spreadsheet. So maybe you've exported a lot of data from your old CRM. You're just working off of spreadsheets or whatever. You want to get those imported. You can just import from a spreadsheet. Totally free to use. We have a support team that'll get on a Zoom call with you and help you import your data. Totally free, right? No extra charges, nothing like that, which is really nice. So yeah, that's very easy to do.
Isn't it classic though, the subtlety of this thing, you guys? imported from another software company, and they actually use Salesforce's logo,
Yeah. Yeah.
knowing that that's probably where you're going to import it from.
Yeah.
I'm just throwing it at you. Microsoft Dynamics is not, their logo is not there because no one uses that anymore.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. I mean, I would say probably half the clients that I work with on a weekly basis are coming from either HubSpot or Salesforce, or maybe some of them are just like, I don't have a CRM at all. I used one 5 years ago, but it was horrible and I got away from it. Now we don't use one at all. That's probably the majority of the clients that I work with.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yep. I do see a question or a comments in the chat. Please contact Lazy Days RV in Tampa to convince home office. Yeah, like I said, I live in Tampa. I know Lazy Days RV. I see the commercials all the time. That's funny. Does Pipedrive offer online presentations? Yes, we do. We do offer online presentations. That's no problem. Spencer, did you mention how Dub works? If so, I missed it. Thank you. I don't know what Dub is.
Dub is a video platform that we work with as well.
I see.
They allow you to send video-based emails.
Oh, I see. Oh, very cool. Okay, I'm not as familiar with Dub, but it sounds like you guys are. So you guys are all over that. That's good.
Yeah, I would use the Dub video link because they give you a link that you can pop anywhere, and I
know that they integrate with Pipedrive. I know that.
Very nice. Yeah, we do. We offer over 400 integrations out of the box featured in our marketplace, which is right down here, which is really cool. There's a lot more integrations also out there, but yeah, a lot of integration options with Pipedrive, which is great. So real quick, kind of, and I'm keeping tabs on the clock, and I want the questions to keep flowing in. But real quick, I also do want to make sure that I just talk about reporting, right? So to kind of sum up what we've talked about kind of big picture stuff, pipeline, and how easy it is to manage your pipeline. We've talked about how to add a data field really quickly and actually have all of your own data. Remember how we talked about we need to know their favorite vacation spot, and they're really passionate about visiting Cleveland, right? That's important to know, so you can create that field. So we talked about that. We talked about how to manage the detailed view of the deal and what I can do in here. I can take notes and I can schedule follow-ups and I can do all of those cool things in there. And then we talked about how you can manage your day. Activities tab. This is my single sheet to-do list. This is Pipedrive just helping me out. This is my personal, right? This is my personal assistant. You know, I'm coming out and I'm just saying, hey, what do I need to do today? This is my personal assistant telling me, hey, this is everything that you need to do today, which is really nice. And then to put a nice bow on it, Pipedrive also has really great reporting. Right. Some of the easiest to use, no, I'll call it the easiest to use reporting tool that you'll probably ever find. This is really, really easy, very visually pleasing as well. A lot of cool charts and graphs. Somebody earlier asked about a report about deals lost by reason. Can I run a report on that? And I showed you briefly how to do that in a list view, which was very cool, right? And we could sort by lost reason and all of that type of stuff, right? If you guys remember back to the beginning. But as I scroll down here, that's also an option in here. Right, I've actually already got that report built out in like a cool graph, right? So I'm just ran this report, deals lost by reason, and it's just breaking it out for me based on a graph, right? 13 were lost because they weren't interested. 5 was bad timing. 3 too expensive. 1 technical features. Okay.
By the way, the answer for not interested is you were not interesting.
Yeah. 100%. It's your job as a salesperson to make them interested, right? So if they're not interested, that's probably equally, a salesperson's fault as it is anything else. 100%.
A little bit more than equal.
Yeah. I was trying to be nice, but yeah, 100%. So like, that's not good, right? Like we wouldn't want to see that a lot because that's not good. It's your job to make them interested. But it's great. Like I can see this in a bar graph like this. Maybe I'm anti-bar graph and I just, I'm a big pie chart guy. So I want to see it in a pie chart instead. I just hit the pie chart button and now it views it like that. Right? However you want to view your data from a reporting standpoint, you can build out your own custom dashboards inside of Pipedrive. You can forecast revenue. You can run reports on how many products you sold. If you want to know if you're a manager, right? If you're a manager for a team, I can come in here and I can run an activity report. Okay, who on my team is being the most productive? Okay, Stephanie's numbers are maybe off the charts this month. Well, I can come in here and I can be like, well, yeah, look at all she's done. She's leading the way with how many things that she's done so far this month. Spencer's numbers are awful. His numbers are always terrible. So like, what's going on? Oh, he's not being very productive. He's only done 3 intro calls the whole month, right? He's at the bottom of the chart. That's not what we want to see, so on and so forth. Really anything that you can put your mind to in Pipedrive, you're like, hey, I really want to know how we're doing in this area or that area. You can completely customize your own dashboard to run the reports that you want and then be able to just quickly understand them. Okay.
Let me throw a little insight at you on these reports. They're not what's happening. They're opportunities for you to improve. when you find out why you lost the deal, those mark them down on a piece of paper and start your own self-education program in those areas, because Pipedrive is telling you why you lost. Now all you have to do is figure out how you can convert those losses to wins by taking responsibility for them rather than blaming.
100%. Pipedrive is doing all the legwork for you. You would normally maybe have to sit down and pull out the calculator and do all the math. You'd have to do all of that yourself and then try to come to that conclusion. Pipedrive is taking all the legwork out of it for you. You just choose the reports that you want to see, and Pipedrive is going to run those reports for you in real time and give you that data so that, yeah, you can better understand and make the adjustments that you need to make in order to be better at what you do, be a better
And
man.
you print a report out every month and you compare it to last month's report and you see if you're making improvements.
100%. Which kind of leads me to my next thing, which is really cool, is right up here, you can adjust your dashboard based off of any period of time, which is really cool. So I can say, hey, this is great. These are the reports that I care about as a manager, maybe something like that. Well, just show me how we did in these metrics, maybe last quarter. And I can just select last quarter. Okay. And maybe not overall, maybe as a manager, again, maybe it's time for you to do your quarterly review with one of your employees, right? Normally, maybe you'd have to sit there for hours and prepare for that and do math and see how they did last quarter and all that type of stuff. Now, all I need to do is just search for a rep, Stephanie, see how Stephanie did in these metrics last quarter. That's it, guys. That's it. 2 clicks of a button and I'm there, right? I don't need to get out the calculator anymore. Pipedrive is telling me how Stephanie did in these metrics that I care about as a manager. 2 clicks of a button last quarter. Or I can adjust it to last month, or I can do anything that I want. I can do a custom time period. You can build out teams. How did this particular team do, or that team? Totally up to you. It's all within your control, all a couple clicks away. Yeah, so it's really, really, really nice. So this reporting module is great. It can totally change the game on how you understand how you're doing things, where you need to improve, where you're doing really well, that type of stuff. Just makes you a better salesperson, a better manager, better, leader, whatever. All of that stuff, all available for you. You can also build
a better person. You look at your own damn report and you're going to, the opportunities are staring you right in the face. All you have to do is look at them as opportunities, not losses.
100%.
Shortcomings.
Absolutely. Could not have phrased that any better. Every loss is an opportunity because it's an opportunity to get better, right? Why is Stephanie losing all those deals? Okay, well, she's just marking them all as not interested. So what is Stephanie not doing? That's like, why is Stephanie not getting them interested, right? Why? Okay, you're getting a bunch of things that, oh, we're too expensive. Okay, so maybe we need to relook at pricing, whatever the case is. All the data that you're putting into Pipedrive can be leveraged as an opportunity for you to get better. So ideally, the way that you run day 1 on Pipedrive and day 365 on Pipedrive are going to be very, very different because you're going to be a much more improved company, more streamlined.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's all available for you in here. So this seems like a good chance. Maybe Jeffrey, Jen, do you guys want me to talk about pricing on this call, or do you want to tackle that on a different call? How do you guys want to handle that?
I think the people want to know. Give the people what they want.
Give the
Yeah,
people what they
no,
want.
that's what I would want to know.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about pricing, right? Because I will be totally honest, CRM in general, like just the whole industry, pricing is one of those, I don't know, I call it like a bugaboo. It's like nobody ever knows what they're going to pay. Everybody's always uncertain on certain CRMs. Maybe I won't name any names. On a lot of CRMs, your price is changing every month and you never know why. Why did my price go up $80 this month? Like, why is it this? Why is it that? Oh, we hit this limit, hit that limit, whatever. Pipedrive tries to avoid all of that. All right. So let's go to pipedrive.com and let's pull up the pricing page, right? So Pipedrive makes pricing very, very easy. Okay. We have 4 plans. We have 4 plans. Everything that I talked to you about today, every single feature that I mentioned today is included on the professional plan. Okay. Everyone is included on the professional plan. Okay. You'll see the price underneath it. We are just per user per month. We don't have any add-on. Oh, I'm sorry. We don't have any hidden fees. We don't have any data fees. We have no activation costs. We have nothing, right? You just pay for your licenses every month and that's it. So if you have 3 people on your team and you want to go the professional route, you would just multiply $49.90 times 3. That's your bill every month. No surprises, no mysteries, no weird limit increases, nothing like that. You just pay for that and you get all the features that's included with that. If you decide that advanced is better for you, you would just take your 3 users and multiply it by this, $24.90. That's your price every month. I think that shakes out to like 20 or 74.70. My math is right. Right. So on and so forth. So that's your price every month. No surprises. Right up here at the top, you can see we have 2 different modes of billing. You can bill annually, so you can pay for the whole year up front, right? And save a little bit of money. or we offer a month-to-month option. If you want to opt for month-to-month, at least to start, I kind of say this is kind of like a date it before you marry it type thing, right? Maybe you want to date Pipedrive for a couple months, make sure it's right, get it up and running in that afternoon that we talked about, whatever. You're loving it after a couple months, your team is loving it. So then you can transition over to annual. But month to month is like Netflix. If you cancel Netflix tomorrow, you're off the hook. Same thing with Pipedrive, right? You can cancel and walk away at any point. So it's month to month, annual. It's kind of like a 1-year contract, but you save a little bit of money as well. And you can absolutely start month to month and just transition into annual whenever you're ready. But you just multiply the price of the plan that you choose times how many users that you have. That's Pipedrive. That's our pricing.
Even just starting out at the $14.90 a month, like that,
100%.
I mean, almost everyone I know makes at least $15 profit on their sales, right? So
We hope. Yeah. Yeah. We hope.
one sale is going to pay for it. Like, think about this.
100%. Yeah. Yes, 100%. So everything I showed you is available on this plan, but honestly, a lot of what we talked about today is just available on the essential plan, right? The pipeline, the custom fields, the activities, right? Your follow-ups, just all of that type of stuff is all just available on essential, right? So we have plans for every kind of budget bracket that you might want to fit into, and it's still going to be the same easy to use product. Just depends on how much you want Pipedrive to do for you.
And keep in mind, easy to use is the watchword here. Because when it's easy, then it becomes documentable. And when you document data, it gives you the resource that you need in order to be able to complete transactions and complete sales. And it does it in a way where your follow through, not your follow up, is what creates the opportunity for more business. Once you have all this data, your customer is going to be blown away by how much you remember, by how much you've served, by how great you've responded to them, by how quickly you've gotten back to them. All that Pipedrive doesn't let you screw it up.
We're getting such great comments here. Menosh said, Mark Benioff will not be happy with these prices. Eric said, sign me up monthly professional. Eric, you can sign yourself up. Awesome. Go get that free trial using our link. And then you can enroll. Bruce says it put me in monthly, Jen. I don't know if that's because of the discount. So our people do get a discount.
Nice.
If they want to change from monthly to annual, is that something easy that they can do themselves?
Yes, absolutely. All they need to do when they're inside of their account is come in here into billing. I actually don't think I have it just because this is a free trial type of account. But when you come into billing, there's just a toggle at the top where you can toggle it over to annual instead of
Awesome. And then Gwen wants to know how much of this is already set up, or are we starting from scratch?
Yeah, so it's pretty much already kind of set up right out of the box. Like you'll already have a setup pipeline and all of that kind of stuff, right? So then you just come in and you just adjust it to be what you want it to be. So you come in and you edit your pipeline stages. You add a few.
Pipedrive comes over to your house, wakes you up in the morning, gives you cereal and milk, kisses your ass, puts you in the car, and turns on the heater. There's some things you have to do yourself. As a salesperson, Pipedrive gives you the foundational opportunity to be able to make this happen for you, but you have to do the freaking work. And if Spencer wasn't so formal and PC, I'd have used a different word. But I don't want to upset anybody because I want you to take advantage of this opportunity. It took us literally 20 years to find Pipedrive. Literally.
Yeah.
And the reason we're doing these webinars, and the reason I'm like a spokesperson, literally, I wish they would make me an official spokesperson, but they're a bunch of cheap bastards over there at corporate.
That sounds right.
But my feeling is that this is something that every salesperson can use to make more sales, which is the object. And you'll have the information to build the relationship. It's not just a matter of, oh, I made my quota this month. That's a bunch of bullshit. I gave what the miraculous thing, you know where companies get quotas, you know how they figure them out? They pull them out of their ass. They're made up things that they give to salespeople. You couldn't double your quota every month by using Pipedrive, double it. And then your sales manager is going to call up and say, how did you do that? When you get that call from the manager, you win. You're the next manager. Just keep that in mind. And 100%. So you have to put yourself in a winning position And the way to win your position in sales today is data. Artificial intelligence will come into it in a little while, and we'll talk about that in our next webinar. But the bottom line is what you're doing right now can put money in your wallet.
100%. Absolutely. You just got to ask yourself, am I the absolute best salesperson that I can be? Right. If the answer to that question is yes, then you're lying to yourself, because nobody is ever the best salesperson that they can be. Right. It's great. Maybe you say, oh, I've hit quota 4 months in a row. That's great. Like Jeffrey just said, why don't you double it? Like, why not double it? Right. You might say, oh, I don't need a CRM because I'm already hitting quota. If you're already hitting quota without a CRM, that's great. Imagine what you could do with one. Imagine how much money you're going to make with something like Pipedrive actually helping you along the way and actually doing a lot of this stuff for you, holding you accountable, all that type of stuff. Imagine where you could go. So don't be comfortable just being like, oh, I'm doing okay where I'm at right now. Right. Be better. Like let's be better.
Anything that has the word okay in it doesn't win.
No, it's not good enough. It's not, we can always be better. And Pipedrive can help you get there, right? What's the saying? Comfort is the enemy of progress or something like that, right? Just because you're comfortable and you feel like I'm doing okay right now, that's not a good reason to not invest in yourself. This is an investment in yourself more than it is anything else, because this is you saying, I know I can be better. I know I can make more sales. I know I can make more money. And I know Pipedrive can help me get there. And that's what this is.
The great Debbie Fields, the Debbie Fields cookie lady, once said, good enough never is.
Yeah, that's great. I've never heard that, but that's actually really good.
Yeah, that's great.
So I'm going to talk to you about going to Berlin, because I think it's a very important thing that we create this pilgrimage. I actually lived in Berlin in 1967 when I studied German there.
Oh,
and
cool.
when you go to Berlin and you cross the street, they have this little guy who lights up green to cross the street. His name is Ampelmann. And
Nice.
it's the symbol of Berlin. So we're going to all go, we're going to all get the Ampelmann hat, and we're going to walk around the city and learn how sales are made, because I'm going to give a one-day seminar on advanced selling, and we're going to visit the Pipedrive home office.
I love it. I love it. Hey, one last question here as we wrap up. Frank asked if the 20% off applies that we get for our people applies to monthly and or annual. And Frank and everyone else, the answer is yes, it applies to both. So use the link that's in the comments. It's in the chat. It's below the video. If you don't see it below the video, just hit refresh. It's there. It's on the page. Use that link and then email helpme@gitomer.com to let us know you signed up, because in addition to the Get Started session that you get with Pipedrive, you also get a Get Started session with me, and people have said it's very valuable, and it's a small group session where you're working through your Pipedrive with other really, really awesome salespeople. So use our link and then get in the club.
And we're going to have Spencer back again, because there's more to this Pipedrive process than you can actually discuss in 30 or 40 minutes. And I think what we're going to try to do is break down some of the sales processes into individual webinars. So we can talk about attraction, we can talk about sending a proposal, we can talk about follow through, we can talk about building relationships, because Pipedrive helps you in every single one of those categories. And they're not to be overlooked. We had 30 minutes or 40 minutes to talk about it today. I'm telling you, guys and women, this is unbelievable. And if you don't understand it from that unbelievable standpoint, then we haven't done our job. So you have to come back to the next one. And we know who you are. You registered. We have your email address. We're coming over to your house. And we're gonna drag you by the hair if you have hair. And if you don't have hair, we're going to drag you by the jacket, to be able to make sure that you come into a sales program that will actually help you make a sale. I'm telling you from my personal experience, and believe me, I'm like the skeptic of skeptics. And you name the company, I know the CEO. I know those guys. And they know, they hate Pipedrive. They fucking hate it, because they know, I almost said a bad word. They hate it because they know that it works better than theirs does at 3 times the price.
100%. 100%. If they're going to do more of these, please join them, right? Use that link down there, sign up for the free trial, do that session with Jen that she was just talking about, invest a little bit of time in yourself, because it will pay off immensely in the months to come. You'll look back a year from now and you'll be like, the best thing that I did in 2023 was sign up on that link, do the free trial, sign up for Pipe Drive, and look at where we are now. That is the best thing that you can do for yourself in 2023. I'm very passionate about
Spencer.
that. This is not a job for me. I'm very passionate about it. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, Spencer. This has been awesome. You have given so much amazing information in such a short amount of time, and we're really grateful to have you here.
Of course. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for having us.
Okay, everybody. So we're leaving you, but we're going to have a private discussion with Spencer because it's a very valuable asset to have in our relationship. And I want to make sure that we use that relationship to help you, the user, benefit the most. Cheers.
Bye, guys.